everybody, Boone White with the 323 Concept Furniture Restoration here. Today you are watching us attempt to repair this this nice accent chair. Gentleman had, I believe, 2 of these chairs. One of them broke, and as you see here, it's got dowels on both sides that runs into both the side frame and the front rail. So we've still got a big chunk of the piece still in the frame here that we need to detach, glue back here, drill out these dowel holes, reinstall the dowels, and get this glued back up. So without further ado, let's jump right in and see how we go about this. All right, so I started this repair by, I was going to remove this corner block. Remove the screws first, obviously, and took a little bit of a chisel to it just to sort of see how stable it was. And after thinking about this for a second, I thought it might be easier to go ahead and get these dowels out of the way. So I trim them flush if I can, and after I trimmed off the ones on the left that you saw first, I decided, okay, let's drill these out completely, and I think that's going to loosen up the chunk that's still stuck in place. So I usually start with a small drill bit, maybe an 1/8 inch, maybe even a little smaller, and then I work my way up to the size of the dowel, which in this case was 3/8 inch. Once I drill those out, as you see here, the chunk came free. That's great. Finished drilling all these holes out to accept the dowels, and the leg, I was able to put on my drill press, so I thought it would be easier to just use that and get those drilled out. If you can fit your object underneath your drill press, that's always going to be a lot cleaner and easier in my opinion. So now we are to the point where we're ready to glue the chunk back to the leg, and I got that in place, got it clamped, and then I was ready to go ahead and put our dowels in place. So after I put 1,000,000 clamps in place, we are ready to put our dowels into the old locations, and we got those in there, and I noticed 2 of the 4 were just slightly looser than I like. I like a good tight fit, so I mixed up a little epoxy and decided to reinforce that hole in there, and I think that'll be a lot stronger bond. So I mixed that up, put it in the opening, and put the dowels back in place. And sometimes I'll leave it and set it and reinstall it after it dries. In this case, I decided to do this all in one shot. I've been doing that a little bit more frequently. I just hate when I repair something and when I go to install it, I accidentally break it again trying to get it in there. So I am leaning towards doing that in the future. Just do it all in one shot and then glue it and clamp it at the end. So as you see here, I'm using my clamp to spread the frame apart. I get them going both directions, and I just gradually spread the frame apart little by little, and that corner block just had a couple nails, so I trimmed those out of the way, got the leg in place, and it is ready to reclamp and get it back secured. So got my clamps on there, and that brake was pretty high up on the leg, so I decided to use some scrap pieces so I didn't damage the decorative wood where I needed to clamp it. So I probably could have trimmed those a little shorter, but why not make it look funky? But anyways, I let that dry up for about at least 30 minutes, and that gives it, some time to dry and cure. Got our block reattached, and I decided to go ahead and put those clamps back on there just to give it a little bit more time after I get it reattached here. So anyways, got the clamps reattached, and now I'm ready to do just some final touch-up work. You may or may not have to do this step. You may have a really clean brake. In this case, some chips were missing and wasn't in the greatest of shape. So I went in there with a little bit of epoxy, and I went in with a little bit of a fill stick made by Mohawk. And I'll put a link in the description where you can find those. They're excellent things to have around the house, whether you damage a piece of furniture like this or cabinetry or wood flooring. So this is our final result. Was really happy with how it turned out. If you got any questions, let us know. Otherwise, we thank you for tuning in and hope to see you in the future.